Good morning. Well, I just had to reboot my computer because it decided it couldn't find a camera. So today's day 2 of journaling through the chakras, and today we're going to look at the root chakra, our root energy. So yesterday we talked about the heart, and what we do is we start with the heart, and we are taking our heart on a journey through all of the different energy centers. And today obviously is all about the root chakra, and I've called this the wealth in our roots. So the root chakra is all about health, wealth, home, belonging, and safety and security. And it develops between the ages of 1 and 7, all of our values, thoughts, and beliefs and stuff around these kind of things. So often when our roots are shaky, they're not strong, we feel unbalanced, and we take these values and beliefs out into the world. So today is all about how we explore what I've called this hidden wealth, this spiritual wealth, if you like, because everything is not all about money, but obviously if we don't have money, that can make life fairly difficult, and our attitude towards money will impact us throughout our entire life. And just recently I was doing some work with someone, and it made me think about my attitude to money and where my beliefs had come from. I'm going to talk about money just for a moment, and then we'll come back to this whole thing about the wealth in our roots. So the conversations had come up, and we'd done a visualization, and it reminded me of a time when, so my dad was in the RAF, and he went on what are called unaccompanied. So he'd go away for a whole year, and I can remember a couple of times he'd come back, and I think, who's that man? We didn't have internet, we didn't have mobile phones. And we spent our time, me and my brother spent my time with my mum, and absolutely no idea who this strange man was that would turn up. Anyway, so to make ends meet, my mum used to do all kinds of awful back-breaking work, and one of those jobs, she went potato picking. And I'm going to tell you a funny story about our potato picking. So we went we didn't always go, but if mum had to take us, we went potato picking. So you can imagine Lincolnshire, dingy, cold, wet, so only little. And so the women, in their wellies, and I think my mum was wearing my dad's trousers, and oh, she must have been so cold. Anyway, I needed a wee, and they had these wooden boxes. Oh, I cringe even thinking about these wooden boxes. And I couldn't lift my bottom onto the toilet, and it looked filthy. And so I weed in my Wellingtons. So when we got home, I had to confess that my wellies were full of wee. Now, please don't tell anybody my story. But the point of this was that to make ends meet, my mum thought she had to do really, really hard work. She had to work to make, work hard to make money, and business was hard. And so these things came forward with me through my life. And there were other memories and things. And of course, parents say things like, money doesn't grow on trees, and money's the root of all evil, and stuff like that. And I think one of the first things to do is to write down some of the stuff that comes up when you think of those things from childhood. So mine amuse me because of the wee in the welly story, but I've had this great opportunity to discuss things with my mum, and often things are generational. So stuff happened in her life, and then she brought those values and those beliefs forward. But the real thing for me, the wealth in the roots. So we said that the roots are about health, they're about financial wealth, about the home, safety and security, and belonging, as in terms of a tribe or a group. So the first one for me is our health. Our health is our wealth. So when we think about the roots, the things that keep us strong and safe and secure, our health, how do we nourish ourselves? If you think of a tree, that root system is going right under the ground and it is getting its nourishment from the soil and from the water, and it's feeding it into its trunk. But also what a tree does, lots of trees, if you think around here, we've got fig trees and almonds, then that's producing food for other, birds and humans and things like that. But it's absolutely imperative that we have good health and we look after ourselves and we drink lots of water and we keep ourselves hydrated. So when we're looking at the root, one of the great things that you can do in terms of journaling is get yourself a food and mood diary and write in there what you're eating and how it makes you feel emotionally. If you've ever had those moments where you go to the fridge and you go, "Fridge, feed me now," and the fridge is looking back at you and it's going, "Well, I've got some chocolate and I've got some processed something," that's not terribly nourishing. And often our behaviour around food is an indication of our emotional state. And this really affects our roots and foundations. So looking after your health is the first thing. So in terms of journaling, get yourself a food and mood journal and just keep it for 7 days and see what comes up. Look at what you're eating, when you eat it, how it makes you feel, and look at all those emotional triggers. We all get them. Now, I have a really super diet because of all the stuff that has gone in my life, and I've also studied nutrition, although I'm not a nutritionist, because it's one of the things I can't do for other people. It's like, just stop eating rubbish and sort yourself out, because that's what I'm like. I look at what's going on. I do occasionally keep a food and mood journal, and then I just change. I just say, I'm not eating that anymore, or I'm going to eat this, or whatever. I do whatever I need to do because of this journey of the heart that I've been on. So health is wealth. So I've talked a little bit about the financial side of things, and I think one of the great things there is to take yourself. Let me just think of a little meditation we could do, and we could just go back and have a look at some of those, see what memories come up, and you can journal around those. Home for me is definitely where my heart is, but actually also wherever I lay my hat is my home. But having a home, a base, somewhere that you can call your home. I also think that this is my home, my body, this human is the home of my soul and my spirit. But home in terms of bricks and things like that, it's somewhere that we can feel safe and secure. Now, root chakra is all about this safety and security. And if we don't feel safe and we don't feel secure, then it's very difficult to make good, balanced decisions, because roots are all about how we create balance, how we're grounded and then how we are centered. And the other thing about the wealth in our roots is about belonging to a group or a tribe. So that could be your family, or it could be some other kind of group that you belong to. And there's real wealth in community. There's real social wealth in community. So I've created this little mandala for you, which you'll find in the files. And like with all the mandalas, it's just to sit and scribble and just look at each of those areas before you start. Colour in the mandala and then either scribble on the back or scribble in your journal the stuff that comes up. So today is very much about exploring health, wealth, home, safety, security and belonging, and seeing what sorts of things come up for you. So that's very much the first thing to do. Let me see what else I've got written on my notes. So the question I've written here is, how wealthy are you? So what I said is we learn our values and beliefs about the things that are affected by our roots between the years of 1 and 7. all of this for me is underpinned by love. So when we love ourselves, we can explore these things in a much more conscious way and in a much kinder and compassionate way to ourselves. And when we combine using the power of our heart, we can become spiritually rich when we create these strong foundations. So, Rome wasn't built in a day. We have to take these things, bit by bit, but we can become spiritually rich. But it's believing that we deserve these riches. And it's not just about the money, it's about all of that wealth that is held in our roots. So we're born abundant, and we are abundant. We have many skills and knowledge and experiences and all sorts of stuff that makes us spiritually wealthy. But really the key is for us to grow like a tree grows, is we have to create those really strong, solid foundations. So today is all about exploring our roots based on the, here they are, based on these 5 things over here. So do explore those. And then my question is how do you balance all of that stuff up? So when you're in business, you have a set of books and you balance various things up, and at the end of the day, everything, all your assets and your liabilities balance. So how do you do that in life? How do you create the balances that you need that give you those very, very strong foundations? So that's all I wanted to say on the wealth that's in our roots. We obviously have in your ebook, you have the journaling prompts. So just intuitively pick one of those. Now, in terms of connecting to stuff in our roots, what I'd invite you to do is to take a couple of deep breaths and connect your roots into Mother Earth, and just breathe gently in and out, and just keep taking your breath down through your roots into the heart of Mother Earth, and really connecting to that beautiful energy that is there. And then I want you to imagine that you are a tree, just like when you're in school and the teacher would say, stop, imagine that you are so it's stop and imagine that you are a tree. You are a beautiful tree. You are strong, firm, you have the most amazing roots, and your roots are going really, really deep and spreading around and ensuring that you are grounded and you are centered and you are balanced. And I want you to imagine that you have beautiful, beautiful branches and they're reaching up into the sky, and you're breathing in all of the wonderful energy from the heart of consciousness, in and down and in through to your roots. And I want you to think about the wealth that's in your roots, and you will feel drawn to follow a particular pathway. It might be your health, it might be money, it might be your home, it might be safety and security, and it might be belonging, but you will feel drawn to following one of these routes. So travel on that pathway, just intuitively know which pathway you're going on, and you're just going to follow that route all the way into the heart of Mother Earth. And as you follow the route, you will start to see some images. Remember, you'll either see, sense, know, feel. Doesn't have to be visual, but there will be things that you are picking up on the way, following that route all the way to the heart of Mother Earth. When you get to the heart of Mother Earth, you're going to pick up a massive, massive ball of beautiful, beautiful, bright green energy. This is the energy of love. This is the energy of abundance. And you're going to bring that ball of energy into your heart, and you're going to come back along that pathway, picking up those images, whatever they are, and placing them in your heart for healing and for cleansing. And then you're going to come all the way back and come back to you as a tree. And then I want you to just take a few more deep breaths, in and out, in and out. Keep a note of the images that you've picked up and how it feels when you have healed and cleansed those images. Come back along the pathway, acknowledge, send love, and let go of anything that might be things that you don't want to keep around these images, but come back into where you are sitting. And in your journal, just write about the images, the pathway you went on, the images that came up, and how it feels when you have connected love to those images. So I'm going to leave you today. So you've got your journaling prompts that you can use there, and then you've got your Wealth in the Roots mandala. So let me know how you get on, and I look forward to getting your feedback. Have a great day.